good evening, all. Ira Epstein, and we are now on Thursday, the 25th of August, 2022, 5:11 p.m. Central Time. Who wants to be a hero? Well, tomorrow's your day. Tonight, take your shot. Fed is going to speak tomorrow. The most powerful man in the world right now. Yes, you heard what I said. Our Fed chair is the most powerful man in the world at this point. He determines monetary policy. He drives what other central banks do or don't do. There's an argument taking place right now in Mexico saying, do they stick with what the U.S. does, or is it time for them to break away? But listen to the argument. Do they stick with what we do or not? It just gives you an idea of the power of what we do. I know you'll tell me the European Central Bank doesn't follow it, and you're right. But their set of fundamentals right now is terrible. We don't know how to help them with their energy nightmare. So they're put into this recession, a terrible one, by the cost of energy, just sapping money from everybody. You know, the only people not being hurt are the ultra rich there. Middle class, lower class, these people, it's summer. They're feeling pain now. Wait. How are they going to absorb in a cold winter the cost of this energy? I don't know. And that's why Ms. Truss in the UK, she's got her hands full. She wants to cut taxes. Cut? I understand what she wants to do. She wants to give money back. I think they're better off with helicopter money than cutting taxes, but that's me. What do I know? Here's what I do know. Right now, you have approximately 18 hours and 40 minutes before the F moment. What's the F moment? It's not a swear word. Fed moment. Fed Chair Powell speaks. Every moment that he talks, everything's going to go on. Each sentence, the algorithms are going to pick up and move it. Here's what you do. Learn to stand back. Let the algos have their time. It's thin conditions to begin with. If they move in with volume, they step right over you like you didn't matter for that 10-second period. Then if he says something different, the market's the other way. You don't know if you're coming or going. I've been there. I'm full of Swiss cheese holes. It's happened to me. I speak to you from years of experience. Let the cowboys, that's why it's in Wyoming, let them trade this, trying to figure out what it all means right away. Step in after the fact. After the fact can be 10 o'clock when he's through speaking. I don't know. I'll be looking at it, and I'll be advising my paid subscribers on what I see. On the S&P, we are down about, just 0.87% for the week, but a little bit of a correction setting in. You can see where we're at. Today, I'm cracking up. I'm listening to the bulls and bears on CNBC and Bloomberg have their way. I'm listening to the guys saying, hey, are you watching the key averages? These markets held them. Next time we're over that 200, we're gone. I understand what he said. Getting up and over, it's not the easiest task. He didn't say, hey, Ira Epstein said the combination of the Bollinger Band 200-day average, and you all knew it. You watch this. I said, that's how you make trading tops. That's what you have. Get through it again. And what did I say? Then I got to go back to the drawing table. What does it mean? So I understand what he's saying, but I'm not predicting it'll happen. I'm predicting nothing. I want to see what the Fed says, and I want to see over the weekend, a lot of it, what's written about it, and the bright minds, what do they come up with? I really do mean what I'm saying. Lower highs, lower lows, okay. We came down, we got a bounce. The resistance on the break, first the support should have been the 18, it wasn't. The market backed away, and I think I told you this just yesterday. I said, if it's going to back away and we were like this, that means typically on the way back up, it does pay attention to it. That's been my learnings. If you slice right through it, you don't ignore it. On the way back up, you normally mean something. It meant something today. You stopped literally right at that number, and you can see that's where you're at tonight. So I'm comfortable with my teachings. The second thing, the market did not make it down to the combination of the 100-day average in green or the Bollinger Band. I would have loved it. I even said that yesterday. Didn't do it. It's still in a bear plane. The resistance is right here. You'd have to be wrong if you cleared this high where the arrow is. And the next support's 40.77 to 40.76 roughly. going to still wait and see what happens. You alleviated the oversold condition. We were oversold. I'll show you this right through here. There you go. I was hoping you'd reach down there because that would have been a clear-cut bottom area, but it's not. So now it's sort of no man's land. When we look at the Nasdaq, you've corrected the oversold. You're still very much in a downtrend. The resistance is here. The Bollinger Band and the 200-day average are up here. You've never hit them. You got close. You came back here and hit the 100-day and the Bollinger Band, and that ended up not being the best resistance point. You cleared it by an awful lot. That's not the case, though, in the Dow. The 200 and the Bollinger Band, you spend 3 days more and just let go. And it's not the case in the Russell, the same thing. So I'm comfortable, and I understand what that fellow said today on CNBC. And it's not lost on me. I just am not as bold as he is going, well, if you can clear that again, you go. Do you clear it down here, or do you have to clear it up there? You see, it's easy to talk generalities. Anybody can say I'm bearish. Anybody can say I'm bullish. What qualifies it? Where do you get in? Where are you wrong? That's what these fellows don't tell you. Where are they wrong? I'm here each day, and I'll tell you where I think right and wrong is on these so that you can make up your mind and see what you got. This is the VIX. It takes always a second or two to load. Where do you think I would have told you? And I did tell you. Where did I say I thought this market was going to have serious trouble? I think it was the exact combination, as we were talking, of the 200-day average and the Bollinger Band. I mean, could it be any clearer? If it isn't, I don't know what I'm saying. And it was, and now the market's void of trend. You have a higher high, lower low, which to me makes all the sense in the world. Traders are saying, let me see what the Fed does or doesn't do before I do anything. You've been riding for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row the lower band. It's the Gorilla Glue trade. Are you going to lose the embedded reading tomorrow? If the Fed speak isn't bearish enough and you lose it, you're probably coming right back up here. If it's super bearish, you're going to go back down to those Bollinger Bands and ride them down. There's a cowboy play for you. Got it? Interesting. All right. 10-year note. Same thing. You're embedded. The pros are looking to sell the market. If the market were just like this going into the speech, if it goes down to the Bollinger Band, you know what's going on. The Fed speech is bearish. If it goes back up here, you have to get the red line to close over 21 to say, it wasn't bearish enough and we lost the embedded reading, and now we're void of that downtrend for a bit. In the dollar index, you have your embedded reading. So the resistance has been day in and day out right up here. Learn to work with Bollinger Bands. You're seeing me talk about them over and over, the importance. And if you're not seeing how they offer the resistance and the support, then don't watch this anymore because I'm useless to you. I'm trying to make this easy for you, and I teach it. There's going to be an ad after this on my enhanced course. The course is under $100. It's going to stick with you in your trading for, could be the rest of your career. Take a look at it. Learn from it. I priced it in a way where you can't afford, in my mind, not to buy it. In the eurocurrency, lower highs, lower lows, you're embedded. Until you lose that reading, rallies are short sales. The resistance we can see. I don't know what to do with anything via the Fed speak. I've made that clear to you. If he weren't speaking, I would be a whole different person in this tape tonight. But he is speaking. And this is a speech he's making not for the U.S., the world market. He is the central banker of central bankers. Understand the importance of tomorrow. It's going to be his history. Did he do a good job or bad? He's got one serious mark against him. On the last speech, he thought inflation was transitory. Very wrong, correct? Now he doesn't want to be wrong twice. That'd be his legacy. Tomorrow's an important day. In the British pound, the market's trying to lift itself out and getting close to losing the embedded reading. If it weren't for tomorrow, I'd be very bearish these markets in the currencies against the dollar. But it is tomorrow. It is the F speak day. Okay, Fed speak day, not what you might think there. In Bitcoin, back and forth, we're in the September Bitcoins now. You can see how the market's laying here. It needs to embed if you and I are going to get real bearish on this. Can it? Well, let's see. How many days do we have? None of them are embedded days. Got to wait. It's just oversold. Then we get to the Brent. Now, I'm still doing October versus Oct. I'm going to have to move to no versus no. So just wanted to give you this. But the market has popped up and over, and you can see this on this chart, the 18-day average, which is now shifting everything in favor of WTI. You got up in November, Brent, and yes, I'm in November, and the pros came out today. They're going to take another look, see what do you think they did up here in WTI. Yesterday was their day, and today was the day and yet day before, right against those numbers. They've taken money off the table. What about gasoline? I'm still bearish. I think the pros are and have been selling against the 18-day average, stops over each of these highs, looking to see if they can shove it into the lower band. And at the same time, the market is still saying, what do I do with nat gas? It's overbought. If it embedded, fine, but it's not. I have to pass it. One of my filters, the way that I teach charting, is you have an overbought market, it takes away typically buying power unless it can get from here and start the embedding and embed. Barring that, more times than not, if I can find these situations, you were overbought there, you were overbought, didn't embed there, you eventually slip back a little bit. I'm just playing the percentages. And that's what charting is. You're looking at the percentages. The highest percentage for me is why would I want to step in front of Fed Chair Powell tomorrow? Number two, I want a full understanding of the Bollinger Bands because one way or the other, these markets are going to start hitting them up and down. You want to be prepared. Here's how you do it. Take a look at this. Welcome. I'm Ira Epstein, and I'm here to talk about my enhanced Bollinger Band course. Now, many of you have taken my regular charting course, and if not, you might think you know something about Bollinger Bands. As you know, Bollinger Bands are an algorithm designed to keep the market trading within it 95% of the time, and on a chart, it will offer on the top part resistance, on the bottom support, and the idea is the market will travel within them. We know that sometimes it latches onto that band, goes up or goes down. Well, how do you play with that? Can you pyramid the positions off that type of thinking? Well, I've applied all three of these into 13 different videos that teach you my concept of it. And from that concept, you're able to work with weekly charts and or daily charts. The 13 videos, each about 7 minutes long. The idea here is not to put you in school forever, but to teach. Now, if you haven't tried my complete futures research, I throw that in as well. Whether you've tried this or not, I think it's worth taking a look at. I think you're going to learn something from there. That research, by the way, covers twice daily market updates for you and access to what I call window envelope numbers, which I think are very important when looking at these Bollinger Bands. The next part is a trial to our charting software so you can make your charts look the same way that mine do. It's that simple. Where do you go with it and how do you get all this? It's simple. You go to our website, www.iraepstein.com. If you go to the word education, everything you need is answered there. You can also call my staff. They'll be happy to help you get set up. I'm Ira Epstein on the road to your education.